Teams is where work happens, and where sensitive data, guests, meetings, apps, and files constantly intersect. In this module, we'll harden collaboration without slowing people down, using Microsoft 365 controls to reduce risk while keeping teams productive. Before hardening teams, keep the broader security stack in view: identity and access controls, endpoint and mobile protection, Defender threat detection, and Purview data governance. Teams brings those layers into everyday collaboration. After this module, we'll apply the same security thinking to SharePoint, OneDrive, and Exchange. Team security is a control plane, not a single switch. The Teams Admin Center defines collaboration behavior for meetings, messaging, apps, calling, guests, and external access. Entra ID decides who can get in, under what conditions, and how guest identities are governed. SharePoint and OneDrive protect the files behind teams and channels through sharing controls, labels, DLP, retention, and access rules. Intune adds device posture, while Defender and Purview provide detection, audit, investigation, and compliance signals. The takeaway is coordination. One weak control can undermine the rest. Guest access is not just an on or off team setting. Treat each external user as a managed identity with a defined purpose, limited capability, and an expiration date. Start by aligning Teams guest settings with Entra external identities. Then require MFA, conditional access, terms of use, and appropriate session controls. Reduce what guests can do, such as channel creation, private calling, screen sharing, and file sharing, based on collaboration risk. Most importantly, manage the lifecycle with access reviews, entitlement management, and automatic expiration, so partners leave when the work ends, not months later. External access is different. It supports chat or calling across organizations when people do not need accounts or resources inside your tenant. Guests become identities you must govern. Federation keeps communication at the boundary. That is why domain policy matters. For sensitive environments, avoid open federation and allow only trusted partner domains. Block domains with known risk, and be cautious with unmanaged or consumer services. Then validate the model with audit logs, Defender signals, and communication compliance, so external conversations remain visible and controlled. Meeting participation controls work best in sequence. When an invitation is used, Teams first assesses identity: anonymous, guest, external, dial-in, or internal. For sensitive meetings, anonymous access should be disabled or tightly restricted. Lobby rules then decide who waits and who enters automatically. Once someone is admitted, meeting policy assigns roles, usually making attendees the default and limiting presenter rights. Controls should also prevent participants from bypassing organizer decisions. Different groups need different policies, because executives, regulated teams, educators, frontline users, and general staff carry different meeting risks. Every meeting artifact is data that can leave the room. Recordings, transcripts, whiteboards, and shared files may contain legal, HR, financial, or regulated information. Governance starts before the meeting by limiting who can record, transcribe, enable captions, or trigger automatic recording. After the meeting, these artifacts usually land in OneDrive or SharePoint, where Purview controls should take over. Apply sensitivity labels, retention, DLP, download restrictions, and external sharing controls. Also confirm that audit and e-discovery processes can find, preserve, and review this content when an investigation requires it. Messaging policies turn collaboration risk into practical decisions. Start by deciding which conversations can cross organizational boundaries, especially with external users. Then tune the features that shape behavior: priority notifications, URL previews, translation, memes, stickers, and GIFs. The goal is not to remove personality, but to match expression to your compliance needs and culture. Editing and deletion need special care because they affect investigations, retention, and legal discovery. Avoid relying on one global policy. Use stricter scoped policies for legal, finance, executives, merger teams, and other groups where sensitive conversations are routine. Think of Teams design as choosing the right security boundary. If everyone in a workspace needs restricted access, create a private team. If only a small subset needs protected conversations or files, use a private channel. But remember that it creates separate SharePoint storage and adds governance overhead. For collaboration with another organization, shared channels can reduce duplication, but only when Entra cross-tenant access and compliance requirements are approved. The main risk is sprawl, so set standards for names, owners, sensitivity labels, and periodic reviews before users create exceptions. File sharing in Teams depends on where the file actually lives. Channel files inherit protection from the connected SharePoint site. Chat files usually live in the sender's OneDrive and are shared with chat participants. So file hardening starts with SharePoint and OneDrive controls, sharing policies, external sharing limits, default link types, and expiration rules. From there, layer sensitivity labels and DLP to stop confidential content from being overshared. Review guest file permissions separately from Teams chat or meeting access, because participation does not always equal file access. Teams governance cannot stop when a team is created. It needs a lifecycle. Create the team with clear ownership, classify it by sensitivity, monitor how members and guests use it, and review access regularly. Requiring at least 2 owners prevents orphan teams and keeps accountability visible. Expiration, naming, classification, and renewal policies help control sprawl. Guest access deserves extra attention, especially in sensitive teams. Access reviews, entitlement management, audit logs, and operational ownership work together. So stale permissions are removed, active teams are renewed, and unused teams are archived or deleted. Teams apps bring work directly into collaboration spaces, but each app also expands the trust boundary. Governance starts with broad defaults. Decide whether third-party apps, custom apps, and user uploads are allowed at all. Then use permission policies to make finer decisions by audience, allowing, restricting, or blocking apps for specific groups. Setup policies shape the user experience, such as which apps are installed or pinned for specific roles. Before approval, review publisher trust, requested permissions, data handling, compliance needs, and business value. The goal is enablement with controlled risk. Treat every app as a potential data access path, not just a productivity add-on. Suppose a project management app asks for files. Read, all and group, read-write, all. That is not a routine Teams permission. It could read broad file content and modify group resources. The right process is to confirm the business need, analyze each graph permission, require admin consent for elevated access, and validate the vendor or custom code. After approval, keep watching. Defender for Cloud Apps, Entra App Governance, audit logs, and inventory reviews help catch risky, over-permissioned, or unused apps. Integrations deserve the same scrutiny. Connectors, incoming webhooks, bots, and automation can move data automatically, which makes them governance targets. Treat them like service accounts with a data path. Before enabling them, confirm the owner, business purpose, permissions, and what information they can post or retrieve. In sensitive teams, restrict unmanaged webhooks and third-party connectors by default. Then verify continuously with Purview Audit, Defender XDR, Defender for Cloud Apps, Teams usage reports, secure score, and periodic incident exercises to detect risky activity and prove the controls still work. Team security works best when identity, collaboration, data, apps, and monitoring are governed together. Decide who can join, how meetings and messages behave, where files are protected, and which apps can access data. Then align those choices with Purview, DLP, retention, audit, and e-discovery. Next, we apply the same hardening mindset to SharePoint, OneDrive, and Exchange Online.